Hi there, I'm Zik and welcome to the complete Spyro 2 any% speedrunning guide for the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. So before we jump into the gameplay and the run, I'm going to go over a few quick things we have to talk about for setting up for your first Spyro run. First things first, let's get this out of the way. You must be playing on 30 frames per second. 30 frames per second is the lowest we allow per leaderboard standards, but any higher than that and you won't be able to do certain tricks and jumps throughout the run, which we'll get into later. So just make sure your game is set to 30 FPS for Spyro 2 runs. Also, make sure that is displayed somewhere on the screen. Easiest way is there's a tool in Steam that'll do that for you, just for leaderboard submission purposes. If you're on console, don't worry about it. Now, for PC players, there is a loadless timer that is built into LiveSplit. You simply just need to activate it, and that will make sure that you're using that timer. So no matter what kind of PC you have, we're all playing on the same level playing field. Now I am going to be showing, so mainly this is going to be PC related things, though if you're playing on console, don't worry, I'm still going to go over console strategies as well. So if there's a trick that is PC specific, I will tell a console player what you have to do to get to the same point and the fastest route that may be possible for console. So let's talk about gem routing a little bit. I'm going to be showing my gem route that I use for PC any% runs. Obviously, if you're on console, it's going to be a little different. You need to get a little more gems. Again, we'll get to that when we get into it. But even for PC players, it's kind of play with it, you know, experiment a little bit. Maybe you'll find some gems that are a little faster than the ones I get. You never know. But with that, we're going to jump into it here. Time starts when you select Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. So time starts in 3, 2, 1, now. So the first minor optimization I want to talk about is when you go into Glimmer here, there's an NPC right off the bat. So I always tilt my joystick a little to the left here and hold charge. And you'll see I go to the left and then I come back to the right. That is so I can avoid talking to that first NPC. If you just hold charge, he's going to catch you and you're going to have to talk to him, which wastes a little bit of time. So here in Glimmer, you're just going to start off by getting a few easy gems right off the start. Make sure you glide over that fairy there. If you just charge under her, she's going to talk to you and tell you a bunch of tutorial stuff. So you have to make sure you're in the air as you go past her. So the first trick here in Glimmer I'm going to talk about is skipping that bridge. We don't want to pay money bags for the bridge. So we're going to be jumping over that gap. Okay, so the first thing we need to go over when talking about this trick, and for the rest of the game, is we need to talk about perfect hovers. So if you know Spyro 2, you know that there is the hover ability. So when you're gliding, press triangle, and you can get this small boost into the air. So the time for when you are allowed to hover is based on how long Spyro is in the air. So to get like an optimal hover, you want to wait as long as possible after jumping to glide. That'll extend how long Spyro's been in the air. And then press triangle right when Spyro starts losing height. And you'll get this little hover. That lets you get up to ledges like this gem. It's a good place to practice. And then you can do it again and get up onto this cliff. This is just us practicing hovers right now. One of the big tricks to learning how to do more optimal hovers, like I said, is not to glide too early. If you glide too early, you're not going to have the height. You have to wait longer to hover. So if you hold that jump as long as possible and then hover, you're going to get much better hovers. So now that we know how to hover, we can get into some of the other tricks in the run. So now we're back talking about the 3 ways you can cross this gap in Glimmer. So the first 2 are kind of similar. The third one is a little different. We'll talk about that one last. So the first 2 that are kind of similar is you're going to use these torches from here to get across the gap. You'll come up to this stair And what you're going to do is look at that torch. You're going to be hovering on top of it. We're going to get up close, we're gonna jump, hover, and we're gonna land. See, I was close there. Another really close one. Just like that. I don't usually do these methods, so I might be a little rusty on the torch ones. So that's how you're gonna get up onto this torch. And then you'll just jump and glide across the gap. Another method people like to do is they like to use this torch because it's a little closer to where you have to go. It's kind of the same deal. You're going to jump, hover, and land on that torch. Let's see if I can show that off real quick. Like that. And then you'll jump, glide across, and continue the level. The final method, and this is one I personally do, though it might be just a quarter of a second slower, is what I like to call the rock jump. So instead of going to that stair, I like to come over here to this kind of column with the crystals coming out, and you can actually stand on it right there. See this like fat one I'm standing on right there? You can stand on that. And then once you've come up here, you can just jump, glide, and hover onto that torch. Everything ends at the torch, as you can see. Come up, and you'll get on that torch, which I'm actually having a little difficulty with while trying to show it off live. I usually do this in one motion, so it's weird to be stopping. Then you get up onto the torch from the rock. No matter which method you pick, you're going to be on top of a torch. So after you're on top of a torch, you can just jump and glide and do a little hover, and you're over across the bridge. Grab this 5 gem, you'll head down, pick up the talisman from Twitchy, and you're all done with Glimmer. Before you exit out though, run back here, there's a 10 gem in that basket. Just to help your gem count a little bit. Enter the portal, and we're on our way back to Summer Forest. Okay, so after you enter the Glimmer portal, you'll end up here in Summer Forest. What I like to do right off the start here is hold charge. Do not hold any other direction. Just charge straight forward till you get to this stair. Now, Alora here is going to talk to you if you jump up to the next stair. Kind of where that first purple gem is, she has a trigger to talk to you. We want to jump over that. So what's best to do here is hold forward on your left joystick. Jump and extend that for as long as you can while holding forward, and then glide. And you'll glide right over. And you'll pick up both the 5 gems. Then you just jump this gap, and we're gonna run to the Idle Springs portal, and we'll start talking about Idle Springs. So the first thing I want to talk about is I'm going to be getting a lot of fodder in this level, a few of the bugs lying on the ground. And that is for a strat that I'm setting up for Crush. Now this is going to be another personal preference thing. For Spyro 2, and all the Spyros I believe, if you get 10 fodder heals for Sparks, you get a 1-up and a full heal. So what I like to do is I like to set it up so that I've killed 7 fodder going into the Crush fight, so that I can get my 10th one during that fight. Now there is a little manip that you can do in Crush to get more fodder during that fight. I don't have like 100% success rate for it, so it's up to you. If you want to practice the manip and try and get those extra sheep during the Crush fight, do that. If you want to try and set it up so you always get the 10th heal in the Crush fight, go ahead and follow my route here for killing bugs. So right off the start, you're going to want to go to the right here, so you avoid talking to that builder. Then I like to kill this bug in the back, and then get ready to move forward here. Set this guy free as soon as possible. We want those gems. And then I like to come get this bug in the back while I wait for him to open the door. The name of the game is always freeing these builders as quickly as you can. Gonna get a few extra gems here while we have some free time waiting for him. Another insect right there. And we have to wait for this builder, so we're going to pick up all the gems in this room. So now this fairy, she has a trigger where she can talk to you, kind of like we did with Allura. We can jump right over it again. So start coming into this room, right when you kind of get to this corner of the wall, and just jump and glide. And you'll jump right over her trigger to talk to you. Free that builder, grab some more gems, and now you're going to be doing a hover here. This isn't completely necessary, but you'll jump, glide, and hover onto this ledge. It's a pretty easy hover to get, but if you're really having trouble, you can just come over here and climb the stairs as normal. Talk to Foreman Max and get the second talisman of the run. After you get the talisman, you'll pause the game and hit exit level. It's just a little faster than walking to the portal to leave the level. So, now that we're back in Summer Forest, cut this way because there's a 25 gem back here you'll want to get. And these. Watch out for moneybags here because he can talk to you if you get too close to him. Now a really small strat I'm going to talk about right now is charge swimming. I showed it off briefly in Idle Springs, but if you don't have the swim power up, if you hold charge in the water, Spyro can't, you can see I'm pressing square, he can't dive. If you combine that with a jump, you get a charge jump in the water. It's a pretty fast way to cover bodies of water. What you like to do here is while holding forward on the joystick, you're going to jump in the water and you can do these charge jumps out of the water to get into the Colossus portal. The Colossus here is really going to test your ability to do hovers and charge jumps. We're going to get a few gems off the start. Talk to Brother Arnie to start him opening the door, and then cut back for some gems while the door is opening. So, right up here is the statue. This is what we're going to be using to get past a lot of this level. The first part of this trick will always be the same. Afterwards, there's two variations you can do to get up to that ledge. So I like to stand on this kind of raised snow pile here, aim to the right of the statue, and you're going to jump, glide, hover, and pull your joystick in. You're landing on the top of his head like this. So again, that's just a jump, glide, hover. I hovered too early. Yet again. And you're gonna turn the joystick to the left directly to try and get right on top of his head. Now, from here, you can either do another hover to get up to that column and then jump over to this ledge. That looks like this. And that gets you up here. I'm gonna take out this goat because he's gonna bother me. Another option, I fell so we can see the hover one more time, is you can come over here and you can do a hover like so and get up to here. That might be a little more difficult for you, especially if you're starting out, but I do this one in my runs. I just personally like it. But no matter what, the goal is to get up here. Afterwards, you want to grab a few more gems. And now we need to get all the way over to there because that's where the talisman is. This is where charge jumping, this is going to test your charge jumping. So when you're doing a charge jump in this game, you can delay the jump for a good while. I mean, Spyro has a lot, you can, if you're charging off a ledge, you can wait till Spyro is almost completely off the ledge before you do a jump. And you're going to need that distance here. So first you're going to do a jump like that to get over to here. Show that one more time so you can see how late I jumped. You jump very late here. You can almost see Spyro dropping off the ledge before I get the jump. And I'm going to do that one more time and combine it with a hover to get up to here. That way you can just come behind this flag and get the talisman. After you get the talisman in this level, you're going to open the guide so here's where a deviation takes place. For PC runners, if you get the talisman here, you're going to open the guidebook and you're going to warp back to Summer Forest. If you are a console runner, you cannot do this trick coming up. You need to exit level and go by the swim power up, and then you'll catch up to us where the PC trick leaves off. You'll get the swim power up, you'll swim underwater and go to the Hurricos level as you would if you were playing through the game normally. But if you're on PC, you're going to open the guidebook and travel to Summer Forest. After you warp back from Colossus to Summer Forest, this is where you're going to end up, right outside the Glimmer portal. And we're going to be doing the first part of the swimless route of Spyro any percent. And that is a wrong warp to Ocean Speedway. So you'll notice when I pause the game, it says I'm in Summer Forest. What we can do and what you're aiming for is to pause the game on the same frame that you would enter this portal. So you'll walk into the portal and hit the start button, and it'll say you're in Glimmer instead of Summer Forest. Then you'll exit the level, and if everything goes right, it should hopefully take you over to Ocean Speedway. So let's see if I can get this here. I did not, so we're going to have to, if this happens, you'll be loading into Glimmer, you'll have to exit the level and try again. We'll exit the level and I'll give it one more shot. Now, while I'm kind of loading back here, I'm just going to point out a few things. This trick is kind of inconsistent. Sometimes it may crash the game. Sometimes it might just put you back outside of the Glimmer portal. There's no real definitive answer as to why. So there's Glimmer. I'm going to exit the level. Some say that this works better on solid state drives than hard drives. I've heard that doing that exit level menu really fast helps in getting the wrong warp first try. Just keep at it, keep trying it, and know that if it doesn't work sometimes, you probably did everything right and it just got a little unlucky. So after this series of loading screens, Spyro will load in. We'll see where we go. So see, I got spat outside the Glimmer portal. That's just unlucky for me. We'll try it one more time and I'll see if I can get outside of Ocean Speedway to show this off. This trick, as far as I am aware, I have tried it multiple times on different PS4s. I cannot get this trick to work on console. So if you're on console, ignore this section going on right now. This is for PC players. I am going to show a backup for this warp if you're not ready, comfortable with doing it. Looks promising. There it is. So now we are outside the Ocean Speedway portal. And you can just come down, grab these gems. They're here. They're 10s. You're not supposed to talk to Hunter. Okay. And then you'll just run over and enter Hurricos. So before I get into Hurricos, I'm going to talk about a backup strat you can do instead of the wrong warp. Instead of warping to Summer Forest, you will exit level from Colossus if you want to do the backup. We still won't be buying swim. What you're going to do is you're going to come up through this water and you're going to go over to the Hunter Orb Challenge here. Don't talk to Hunter. There's no we're not doing the Orb Challenge. There's no reason to talk to him. Just continue through until you get to these stairs. So if you're doing the backup, we have to preemptively talk about wall gliding. Wall gliding is a trick that is exclusive to PC, in which on certain walls, if you are gliding in parallel to them and you tap towards the wall or hold towards the wall on the joystick, Spyro will gain height off of that wall. So we're going to be utilizing a wall glide here to get out of bounds. This can be kind of tricky. It might take some getting used to, but you're going to do a charge jump off of this ledge towards, there's like that crease in the wall there. And you're going to hold that charge jump for as long as possible. Very long time. Like, it feels wrong how long you hold it for. And then you'll go into a glide and you'll tap left into that green part of the wall. And you'll see that Spyro will gain height. Keep doing that until he lands on that green part. So I'll see if I can show that off here. We'll do a charge jump. Tap into the wall until we land up here. Once you've landed up here, you'll charge all the way over. I like to go to here because I know this is solid. There are some non-solid parts here, so be careful. I like to go to the kind of next to this pillar thing, and then you just charge jump off, and you'll see that you can get right into this room. You can get an extra 20 gems there if you do this method. Not too bad. It makes up for the 20 gems you would get doing the warp. And then you'll just enter the Hurricos portal, and we'll continue on talking about Hurricos. Now, doing the backup loses, I think I've timed it out to be around like 12 to 15 seconds over getting the warp first try. So just take that into account when doing the backup. So here in Hurricos, you're going to charge forward and get those gems. And now, we're going to be doing some hovers to get up these cliffs. So you're going to line up here. You're going to jump and hover up to here. You notice I kind of tap into the wall. That's just a personal thing. You don't have to. Here, though, it helps a lot. I like to aim for this dark line in the wall. I stand back here. I jump into the wall, and I kind of hover right around there. I'll show that one more time because this one is tricky. So you can see it can be kind of tricky. If you're not comfortable doing those hovers, something you can do as like a first timer strat is grab this diode and you can unlock the gate. And you can come over to here. And then you only have to do one hover, which is getting on top of this windmill. And then you can come right over to here. A little easier than jumping up these cliffs if you're not comfortable with it yet. Grab these gems. It's a good amount of gems. And so now what we're going to be doing is an out of bounds trick to get to the talisman. You're going to hover on top of this windmill, and then we're hovering on top of that moving piece. So this is really cycle based, so you have to be careful. But we want to get on top of there, and then you can run out of bounds to get to the talisman. So I like to wait until like now, right before it would push out, and then you hover on top of here, and then you can just charge off the edge and glide all the way over to the talisman. I know that was a little fast, but I couldn't, you can't wait or else that thing is going to push out from the wall again, and so it's best just to get up there and do it all in one fluent motion. Then you can grab those gems and get the talisman, and you're done with Hurricos. Make sure you pause and exit level instead of using the portal on all of these levels. It's just a little bit faster. So the next level we're going to talk about is Sunny Beach. Sunny Beach is the second part of the swimless route for any percent. So there's nothing to do in Summer Forest, just run over and enter the Sunny Beach portal. So right off the start here, you're going to land on this turtle. And where you're aiming to, we're going to be doing another hover. Hovering is very key in this run. So like I said back in Glimmer, it's best to just start practicing with it. In like the gem and Glimmer and that sort of thing, you're gonna have to get really good at your hovers. So you're going to be trying to aim to get on top of that gate right there. If this is a little too tricky, you can move this turtle to get him into place, just to get him a little closer to the gate. Just breathe fire, he'll move, then you can get on top of him. You're going to jump, glide, and hover, and you'll land on top of this gate, and then jump, glide, and you can get up to here. This is just to get a few extra gems. Now, this this trick I'm about to show is possible on the console release of the game. So don't worry if you couldn't do the wrong warp or the wall glide to skip swim. Even if you have swim, you could still do this trick. So there's this turtle here. You're gonna come to this guy. And a property of these turtles is if you breathe fire, they move forward, and then they always return to their home position. So what we're going to do is breathe fire and keep him close to this right wall. Keep him going all the way to the water, and you're going to stand right in this corner, and I like to hold forward. And if everything goes right, he likes to misbehave sometimes. If he does, just get him back into position. And what that'll do is that'll push you out of bounds. So then, I like to do 2 full glides straight forward, turn to the right, jump, and glide. And that'll land you here. And this is where the talisman is. So all you have to do is play the level like normal, move this turtle into place. I like to take out that duck just because he can sometimes hit you with the shovel. Keep the turtle up the ramp, and this will get you the talisman for Sunny Beach. So like I said, that turtle that pushes you out of bounds can be kind of tricky sometimes. Keep practicing it, bear with him, and you'll get out of bounds in no time. So when we come out of Sunny Beach here, the final level we have to do is Aquaria Towers. So you're going to hit that button so you can open this gate. And pay money bags to open Aquaria Towers. Before you go in, cut to the left here because there's 30 gems and those are worth getting. So this is going to kind of be the final piece of the swimless route in which we're going to do Aquaria Towers without swimming. Right off the start, cut to the right so the seahorse doesn't talk to you, and hit the button to turn on the first set of water. So what you're going to do, even though we don't have swim, the game still allows us, if you hold A, to paddle up to the surface of the water. Then you'll do charge jumps over to this number 4 tower. Now, if you see there's like this doorway to the number 4 tower, if you jump right kind of at the crest of the very top of that gate doorway thing, there's actually an invisible platform there. I don't know if it's like a lingering hitbox from that gate or what. It's right, you can see, right at the crest of the front of that door. If you get up there, you can just jump, glide, and hover, and you're at the end of the level. You can get those gems if you want. I actually usually only get the 10 gem, so you'll get the talisman and then run and hit the 10 gem and exit the level. That's as easy as it gets. Finding that invisible platform can be tricky. Just take your time. It helps to know right where it is. Like I said, right at the crest of the front of that doorway. So now that we have all of our talismans, I like to get one more sheep here. Usually he is right there, but I hesitated a second to set up the sheep, having 10 sheep in the crush fight, and we can go fight Crush. Go get those 2 baskets, talk to Alora, and down into the crush fight we go. So I'm going to try and get the sheep manip here. If I don't get it, I will do the fight normally, and then I will show the manip strat afterward. So what you want to do in the crush fight is get really close to him and get hit by every one of his attacks. This is why we need the sheep. That'll cut off his attack animations early and save you a decent amount of time in the run. So right when I did that first hit there, I stood over to the right of that, and there I got the sheep manip. So I'll explain it here. It's kind of hard to explain while the fight is going on. But after the first hit, you want to stand kind of right here, right to the side of this center piece. Then Crush will go for his second attack. After his second attack, you want to stand over here on the other side of it, and you'll hopefully get like 5 or 6 sheep coming down from the ceiling. When you're standing to this side of it on the first hit, if 2 sheep fall from the ceiling, you'll know you got the manipulation. If 3 sheep fall from the ceiling, no more sheep will fall from the ceiling, and you know that you're going to be stuck with just 3 sheep. That is why I like to get 7 sheep or fodder before that fight, so even if the manipulation fails me, I still know I'm guaranteed 3 sheep in that fight, and I'll hit the 10th heal no matter what, so that you can take every hit. So like I said, on the first hit, you'll go back to that center platform and stand off to the side of it. Hopefully 2 sheep fall from the ceiling. Then go get hit by Crush again and come back to the other side of that center platform. And you will hopefully get a lot of sheep falling from the ceiling. Again, I don't do the sheep manipulation, so I'm a little bad at it and probably really bad at explaining it. So give it a shot. Feel free to ask questions if you're having trouble with it and you really want to do the manipulation. After Crush, you're going to end up here in Autumn Plains and just immediately turn to the right and enter Crystal Glacier. Alright, so starting off Autumn Plains, here we are on Crystal Glacier. So you're going to start off, we have to free these ice builders. Those 2 you can get in 1 flame if you pivot it right, and then go on and get that last one and stand on the catapult to be launched to the other side. When you get to the other side here, you're going to jump over this skull, and we want to kill all of these guys at the start. That one, get that one, and that one. So you're at 4 kills coming into the next section. Now there is a hover, pretty tricky hover. It's very similar to the one in Glimmer that you have to do here to get to the next section. This is so we don't have to free all of these ice builders and watch their cutscene. You'll line it up kind of the same way as Glimmer. Stare straight at the torch, jump, glide, hover, and you'll be standing right on top of the torch. And then you can just jump and glide right up to here. So, right now, at this very moment, is going to start the Crystal Glacier Bridge skip. I will preface this by saying, you are just starting out in any percent, I would, and maybe you're not fully comfortable with this trick yet already, this is kind of a difficult trick. It may be worth just routing in 200 extra gems and buying the bridge. But, if you want to be optimal, you're going to do the bridge skip. So the first step in the bridge skip is we need to do what is called soul duplication. So you know in Spyro 2, when you kill an enemy, you get a soul from that enemy. So right now I have 4, as you can see, at the top of the screen. There are 2 enemies right out there. You can kind of see there's the nose guy sticking out of the ground there and that wizard guy. That would be souls 5 and 6. I want to try and make those count for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Because we need to get to 15 souls and unlock the Superfly gate early. So the movement here is, this fairy is a checkpoint. She zaps you, she checkpoints you. We're going to run in, flame both of those enemies at the same time, and then immediately run back here and get zapped by the fairy before their bodies despawn. Then you'll take an intentional death. When you revive, the enemies will be back, but you got to keep the souls because you got checkpointed after you got the souls. So you can double kill these enemies, giving you enough enemies to unlock the Superfly gate power early. So I'm going to give it a shot here. If I fail it, I'll cut to an attempt where I actually get it so you can see what the soul dupe looks like in full motion. So you run in, I like to run past the first guy, get close to him, wait for him to charge you, flame them both, get zapped by the fairy, and then take an intentional death. Now when you respawn, if we have 6 souls at the top of the screen, and both enemies, let's see, I have 6 souls, both enemies are there, the soul dupe was done correctly. Now when I come in, this is 7 and 8. You'll want 9 and 10 right there. Come back so you can get 11 right there. 12. 13. Do not buy the bridge if you got the soul dupe. We're going to skip buying that, saving us 200 gems. There was enemy 14 and 15. And now, if you come down here, you'll see we have the Superfly gate early. Now, it is not as simple as flying straight to the end of the level. So this is going to be another complex part, but this is important because this is going to come up again. And that is a trick called height cap breaking. So every level has a height cap. It is set so that you cannot just super fly to infinity and beyond. There are limits here. We need to break those limits so we can, the cap, because this is like you're supposed to have Superfly to do the Draglets orb, the height cap is set right above the Draglets, so you can't go any higher than that. We need to go higher than that. We're going to go higher than that. Trust me. This takes practice. This is a trick I like to say makes absolutely no sense until you do it once or twice, and then everything just clicks and it makes sense. Keep practicing at it. So, when you get the Superfly, I'm gonna share the movements first. It might be even hard to see on the input viewer. Pay attention to that input viewer here for a second. Once I've started flying in the Superfly gate, I'm going to push up on the left joystick. Look, just that much. Just that much. Just a hair so that it just registers an up input. And then that will make Spyro will start going up, or that Spyro will start going down because controls are inverted. So Spyro will start gliding down when you're holding that. Then keep holding that. You hold this up input throughout the entire trick. Then, while you're going down, press down on the D-pad. Down on the D-pad, we'll do a full velocity upwards for Spyro, because the up on the joystick is just ever so slightly downward. Down on the D-pad at the same time will give you full velocity upwards. Now the game is having a down input and an up input at the same time. And what you'll do is you let go of that down D-pad input right when you would hit that cap. Right when you'd hit the height cap, the ceiling. That will break you through. The game will think you're moving down when you're actually moving up. And that will break you through the height cap, and you can keep going as long as you're holding up on that joystick. The second you let go of that joystick, you'll drop below the height cap. So I will show you what that looks like, and like I said, it's gonna take some practice knowing where that height cap is and holding. It's very tricky and difficult to hold that slight of an up input throughout the whole trick. So I like to get myself set up because we're going that direction. We'll get the Superfly, hold slightly down, do that, and just like that, we are up here when we shouldn't have. So I probably should have showed this to begin with, but if you have the Superfly and you just go up, there's the height cap right there. I can't go higher. No matter what I do, I cannot go higher than this. I'm just showing you where the height cap is so you know when you're doing it. Down, up, let go. So you'll let go of that D-pad right when you hit that height cap. Then you're up here and you can just finish the level like normal. Kill all these enemies because you have to kill them to free the ice builders and trigger the cutscene. So that height cap breaking is going to come up again. Small point there, that bottle I charged through, if you free all the ice builders and the cutscene, it starts fading out to cutscene, and you charge through that bottle, you won't take damage. You'll just charge straight through it. Spyro's kind of invincible in that cutscene state. Then you'll get these 3 baskets and exit to Autumn Plains. So finishing my thought, take some practice. That height cap trick is going to come up again. It's extremely important later. The second instance we're going to use that is not optional. So Take some time to practice it. That one's a little tricky because you don't have a lot of space to set it up. The later one, we're going to have a little more space to set up the input. So, I'll go over it again when we get to that point though. So now we need to go to Metro Speedway. We don't have any orbs to turn on the windmill, or the whirlwind. Windmill. So come up here to the Zephyr portal. Don't buy Zephyr yet. I don't even think we have the gem. We don't even have the gems for it. So you're going to do a hover onto that retaining wall. So do a jump, hover right up to here. Then you run around the side of this retaining wall, and you can just do a charge jump glide over to Metro Speedway. We need this to set up a trick later, and also it's a good 400 gems. So go ahead and do Metro Speedway as normal. I will show you movement here that, if done correctly, will get you like a low 50 second time, which is pretty good. You really want to be aiming for like low 50s here. After the guys, you'll do the gates. If you charge right here, you can hit that bird early. Speedways just take some practice. Don't be worried about doing it a little slow at first and taking your time. And there's Metro Speedway. What would that be? That's a 51.1. So that's like a really good Metro Speedway. So that's a good reference point for Metro Speedway for you. After that, you'll just quit out of the Speedway and we'll continue on getting talismans. Make sure you jump when you come off of that thing, that ledge there. If you just charge straight off, you'll fall into Alora's talk trigger and you'll talk to her. So you just want to charge jump off of there to get over her talk trigger and enter Skelos Badlands. So here is another deviation point. If you are on console, you need to do this level like normal. Go straight. As straight as you can, right through that cave where the dude's dancing with the bone back there. Go right there and run straight for the talisman. You can get a little extra gems on the way to make up for buying swim. If you're on PC though, you're gonna do a Wallglide. Wallglides are PC only. So you're gonna come up to this wall right here. Be careful with this Wallglide. That flying cat dude will shoot fireballs at you. So you have to be careful. He may get you. It's just the nature of it. When I do my Wallglides, I like to tap into the wall with the D-pad. You're seeing me do it right there. I just feel that gets you up there a little faster and gets you really, gets you a lot of height and really precise input. So get right here. I like to hold forward when I do my initial jump, and then I let go when I do my glide. So hold forward, jump, glide, tap into the wall. You can see that guy got me. That happened. Tap into the wall and do a hover, and that gets you right up here. I'll show that one more time. Jump. Ooh, I would start it a little too far back. You want to start right on the edge here. You don't want to start wall gliding in this bumped out section. That's why I like to hold forward on my initial jump to get me past it. You'll notice when I'm holding left on the D-pad, Spyro really cuts backwards when he hovers. That helps you avoid that guy's fireball. After that, just charge jump around and get the talisman. Simple as that. If you're a little behind on gems, this is a good point where you can turn around and there are gems back here. I don't normally get these in my gem route, but I'm just showing them off as there's an example of some quick gems that maybe you want to route into your gem route. Go ahead and exit the level and we'll go on to the next level. As I said though, if you're playing on console, you have to get to that talisman the normal way. You cannot do a wall glide. Not that big of a deal, but I'm just showing you, or at least telling you the routing differences. So grab a few of these gems here, and we're gonna head into Breeze Harbor. I just hit a sheep there because I'm low on sparks because I got hit by that guy in Skelos. Now, here in Breeze, you need to turn on this whirlwind. You can race the next bucket. This bucket is gonna try and turn off the flame you do here. You can try and race him. I usually do that because I like to get a few gems. If starting out, that's a little too tough, you can just turn around and kill the bucket and then go up the whirlwind and take your time. What I like to do here is run forward, hit that bucket, flame, and then I come back here, get those two bases, and then jump onto the whirlwind. Again, if that's difficult, just turn around and kill the bucket, and then you can take your time. The next thing you're gonna do in Breeze, get a few of these gems, they're on the way. We're going to be utilizing a lingering hitbox on this window, right there. You can see I just got it right there. If you jump to this window and push into the wall, you land up there. So jump, push into the wall, and you land. You can't stand up here really, you'll fall off. But if you're pushing into the wall, it'll give you enough time that you can get a jump input on. So you can get a second jump so that you can hover up to here. This is tricky. This is gonna take some practice. But jump, and then once I get up here after pushing into the wall, I like to jump and not press any inputs, you see, just very neutral. Jump, jump, and let go of the joystick until I've gotten, that way I can hold this jump as long as possible before gliding. So you can get maximum height. After you get up there though, you want to go over to the trolley track. Take this track all the way over to here and go all the way out to this gear. If you try and do this glide from back here, you're gonna fall short. Go all the way to this gear and then charge jump off and glide into a hover. Make sure you flame this guy. He can water hose you off of the edge there and you'll fall to your death. Be careful. Afterwards, we just need to finish the level as normal. Get a flame there. Get a flame there. And if you do this fast enough, you can kill the bucket before he douses the fire and you don't have to reflame the first one. If you have to, it's not a huge deal. I like to get the gems behind Squawk before getting the talisman. It's a decent amount of gems. And then we'll exit the level with another talisman. So, now that we're back in Autumn Plains, it's time we need to buy the climb power-up. We do need the climb power-up to finish this run. So I like to get a few of these gems, talk to moneybags, and buy climb. So this is a good time for me to talk about a little more advanced strat called the fast ladder regrabs. So normally when you climb a ladder, you'll just press the X button, up you go. You know, just hold forward, climb the ladder. There's a way you can get up ladders a little faster. If you pull back, Spyro goes into his free fall. He jumps off the ladder and free falls. What you can do is jump back off the ladder and then push forward again. You'll notice that that's a little faster than just this because Spyro has a delay before he regrabs the ladder. But if you go into free fall regrab, you can get up there really fast. And you can do things like get up here, pull back, and glide over to here. You can get some really advanced ladder strats in. You see I can pull to the right. You can do a lot with fast ladder regrabs. It's a more advanced strat because it doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it's definitely something worth showing off. Grab a few of these gems and we'll enter Scorch. So Scorch is gonna have a pretty tricky hover. Walk to the left to avoid talking to the NPC. You want to come up here. Do not flame this button. That's the intended way. What you want to do is we're going to get up to there using a hover. So with your perfect hovers you've been practicing, you're going to jump, glide, and hover. And you'll get right up to here. I'll show that one more time. Jump, glide, hover. Go ahead and charge into this bottle. That'll set them off quickly so you can get all these good gems they have. I'm going to get that snake because I'm low on sparks. And so next, I'm going to take these guys out because they're going to bother me showing this off. There is a Wallglide optimization you can do here if you're on PC. If you're on console, here's what you're going to do. Or if you don't want to do the Wallglide on PC, here's what you're going to do. You're going to just charge forward, over to here, single jump up to here, slide over, and then you'll hit this button. If you're on PC, what you can do when you've gotten to here, cut to the left here. There's like a crease in the wall here. You can see it if I turn my camera like this. Do you see the angle? I like to stand right here. You can also kind of look at this dark rock on the ground and aim very parallel. You want to be very parallel to the wall here. You can do a wall glide off of this straight piece. Do not jump into the wall here like in Skelos. If you jump into the wall here, you're gonna have trouble getting height. So you stand right at this edge, get kind of parallel, jump, glide, and then tap into the wall. Straight up jump, glide, and then tap into the wall. And you'll get a tiny bit of height, just enough that you can push yourself up here and you don't have to do that extra movement over there. And then you can just flame this button. Sadly, this is unavoidable. To lower that drawbridge. And we'll come over here. There's no need to get any of these gems. You have to do a single jump there, not a charge jump. And just come over and finish the level. Because from this point forward, we only need 800 gems to finish the run. 400 for Shady Oasis and 400 for Zephyr. That's all we need to finish the run. So we really don't, we're gonna get a lot of them in Shady Oasis. So you don't really need to worry about gems much from here on out. After Scorch, just straight on into Fracture Hills. Go ahead and grab these gems because they're on the way. Name of the game of Fracture Hills, just get the talisman. Free the satyrs as quickly as possible. I'm going to show you a nice route to get through it and get to these satyrs as quick as possible while getting a few gems on the way. Be careful coming up from the start to here. You may trigger one of the man-eating bushes over there and he'll chase you down. So if you take it a little wide, you might not. Here, you can cut this corner with a hover to get to the third satyr in a statue. You can skip these cutscenes. Come over here, flame this guy. He is relentless. He will get you. You can get the fourth statue. Straight down. Don't worry about the tree. I'm gonna get that pig because I want to be a gold sparks. Now, here's the movement I like to do, though I've heard going straight here might be a bit faster. I like to grab this 10 gem, cut down here, and just avoid all those enemies. If you cut this corner, that bush won't get you. Don't worry about it. Just keep charging ahead. Get the 6th satyr. Jump into a hover onto this bridge, and then run straight into the talisman. Go ahead and get the gems around the talisman. It's a good amount of gems. 30 gems is not, it's 30 gems for like 2 seconds is worth it. Then you'll get the talisman and exit level. The Autumn Plains levels, while there's a good amount of execution in them, they're very fast. So, now we need to get to Magma Cone. This door is in the way, and this door won't open without orbs. See if I talk to Professor.
Sorry, Spyro.
Sorry, Spyro, this door is stuck. What you can do here, come between these first two pillars, stand here. We're gonna glide over to there. You need to do a charge jump first. Remember, charge jumping, you can wait a good long time before jumping. So wait as long as you can, jump, glide, and hover, and you'll end up right over to there. I'll show that one more time. Just charge, jump, glide, hover. We'll get right up to here. There's a 10 gem in that vase, and you can enter Magma Cone. You don't need the 8 orbs to open the door. Here in Magma Cone, first thing you're going to want to do is charge jump off this ledge and do a glide and a hover to cross this gap to save a little time. And so I'm going to show two routes right now. The first one is going to be the faster route, and the second route will be more of a safer, newer runner route you can do. If you're playing on PC, you can do either route. If you're playing on console, you can't do the first part here that I'm going to show off with the fast route, but you can do everything afterwards. You'll have to do the first little section of the safer route. So for the fast route, the first thing you're going to want to do is you can wall glide off of this curved wall to get up into the volcano. So I'll show what that looks like here. You're going to jump. I like to charge to the edge and then let go of charge. So Spyro gets more height. I just find I get more successful wall glides that way. You'll charge, jump, and wall glide to here. Go ahead and climb the volcano. And when you're up here, just jump and glide this way around the volcano and get to this ladder and climb it all the way to the top. Make sure Spyro is like right here, right in like the upper left-hand corner. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump off of this ladder. You remember the backwards movement we were doing for fast ladder regrabs? We're gonna do that here. I like to point kind of down left so Spyro goes in a left direction. And you're gonna be doing a long glide. This is gonna be kind of hard. It might take some practice. But try and start your glide at the maximum height you can. It'll look kind of like this. Jump, glide. Keep it tight against the wall here, and hover onto this kind of retaining wall of Magma Cone. Now you can get out of bounds to avoid paying money back to the elevator. So for the faster route, what you're gonna do, if you can kind of see that like right at the crest of Spyro's head, there's like a pushed out part of the rock wall there. You're gonna charge jump and glide to that point, and there will be a little piece of land you can hover onto. That'll be the first step. And then you can glide from there back in bounds to get up to the top part of the volcano. So I'll show what that looks like right here. Go ahead and charge, jump, glide to this rocky part, and hover, and you'll kind of land on this piece. If you go too far inwards, you're gonna go back in bounds and you can't come back out. So you really wanna stay on this outer section here that's solid. So you see that lava pool? Now we're just gonna jump and glide. I like to hover here just to be safe. And you can land up here. So from here, you just do some simple movement to get to the top of the volcano. Be a little careful of that. I like to land as far left, kind of like way over here, so that you can jump around these rocks and not get hit. Climb up the volcano and finish the level. Before you exit level at the talisman though, there's going to be a 10 gem and a 5 gem right here. Make sure you pick these up and then just start an exit level. So now that I have shown that off, I'm going to show off kind of a more safer route you could take if you're not comfortable with some of the craziness that goes on with that strat. This slower, safer route is going to start it's gonna look very similar. There's just a few jumps that are a little easier to do. So it's gonna start the same way. You're gonna do a charge jump and a hover to get up here. Instead of the wall glide, you'll come all the way over here and you can just climb the volcano like normal. This doesn't really lose a whole lot of time. And if you're a console player, you're gonna have to do that because you can't wall glide. Then you're gonna jump and glide around the volcano like before. Climb all the way to the top into this corner. Pull back. Jump and glide off at the highest height you can so you can land on this retaining wall. That was really close, a little spooky. So instead of doing all the nonsense of aiming for that, you could just jump off and glide and aim for the bottom of this elevator that we're skipping. Land down here. There's a few gems you can pick up if you want them. And start climbing the volcano. Now, you can go to the left and climb the volcano as you would normally when you play through the game. Or something neat you can do here is a little optimization. Pull back and you can glide all the way around this way and you can land right here. You have to be a little careful of falling rocks. So like I said, try and land way off here to the left. So if one is on the left side, it won't get you. And then just finish the level as normal. That route is not too much slower than the really fast route, so it's a pretty good route to take if you're still getting used to some of the movement in this game. So, grab your gems, exit level, and we're done with Magma Cone. So now that we're back here in Autumn Plains again, grab that quick 10. There's another 10 gem right there you can grab. And we're gonna unlock Shady Oasis and do this level. If you charge, when you're charging down this path, if you hug this corner right here, Sparks will grab a 5 and a 1 gem right there. It's just easy gems you don't have to stop for. Just charge and hug that corner while you're going to Shady Oasis. So, right up the start here in Shady Oasis, if you jump and flame, you'll hit that tree and you won't have to talk to Shorty at the start of the level. And he'll start doing his thing. You can grab those gems while he eats the apple. The name of the game here is just staying by Shorty at all of his checkpoints. You'll see there was one back there. There's a checkpoint right here. There's a checkpoint at the top of these stairs. It's a good idea to take out a lot of enemies because he can get stuck on them sometimes and he won't go around them. Also, a quick side note, he'll wait for me. Sometimes the hippo will try to jump up this staircase and he'll slide down like this. So he'll go from the bottom, he'll go up, jump, oh I missed. And he'll get stuck like this, just running into the wall for eternity. You cannot fix that. You have to just quick game, continue the game again, and start Shady Oasis over again. It's very rare, but I just want to make it aware that that is a thing that occurs. So go ahead and run to the apple, and while he eats that apple, I like to run back and grab some more gems. Now, I'm a little over gemmed. I have way more gems than I need right now, but that's because I've been showing off like alternate strategies. But normally, the name of the game is you're trying to hit 400 gems by the end of this level. So you're usually not there. So you're usually at like 350 at this point. So you want to try and get every gem you can while this hippo is taking his time going places. Because you can't speed him up. Grab this rock, pick out the enemy, and use the rock to shoot the last apple out of the tree. While he eats the apple, yet again, go ahead and collect some gems. And we'll go to the end. While he goes to the talisman, you can cut back there for 15 gems while you wait for him, just if you need that extra gem. But once you finish this level, do not exit level like normal. You're going to open the guidebook, and you're going to warp the Metro Speedway. So if you exit level, it's okay. It doesn't mess anything up. You just lose a little time. But you're gonna load Metro Speedway and immediately quit the level. This is just kind of, think of this like a fast travel to Zephyr, because we haven't done Zephyr yet. Saved the best for last. So this is a fast travel to the last level. So, I'm going to show off real quick. If you are not at 400 gems yet, or if you want to incorporate this into your gem route, I usually just jump straight to Zephyr. But what you can do is you can drop down from there, and there's 10 gems right there. They do not cost a lot of time to get. Just an emergency 10 gems if you need them, or if you want to add that into your route. I'm just showing it off. Go ahead and purchase Zephyr, and we're going to go into a very complicated level. More so if you're a PC player. So, here's Zephyr. I will start with this. If you are a console player, go straight here. Go straight to the cannon, get on the cannon, blow out the wooden doorway, and you're just start the level like normal. You cannot do a Wallglide. If you're a PC player, you see that squarish looking rock right up there? You want to try and land on top of that by doing a Wallglide off of this little pointy rock. So I like to do a charge jump off of this platform towards that wall, then tap into it and hover up to the square brick. I'll show that in motion. So charge jump, do a Wallglide, and you'll jump right into the corner of this square brick. I'll show that one more time. This Wallglide takes practice. This is tricky. You don't have a lot of room to Wallglide here. Right up to there. Just try and repeat that. This is step one. You have a lot of room to move around up here, so don't be afraid of falling too much. I like to run, charge the length of this rock. You can see where the rock kind of ends. I like to charge to the end of the rock, jump and glide, aiming to the left, and we're going to be out of bounds trying to get back inbound. So I'll show what that looks like. Just jump, glide, point to the left a little bit, and you'll be right on target. So charge, jump, glide, point to the left a little bit, and you're right on target to get inbound. I didn't hover there. I would suggest hovering to give yourself a little safety height. If you're on console and you did the level normally, we've met up right here. Now we're both in the same place, PC and console. So come up, come over to here, do a charge jump and a glide, and you can get into this alcove and come over to here. I'm gonna hide behind here so those birds don't shoot at me. So, I'm gonna show you a very advanced strat. If you don't wanna do this, I don't blame you. It's okay. Go ahead if you don't wanna do it and just go around this way and go up top like normal. Don't use the cannon though. We're gonna skip the cannon. Again, with all the advanced strats I'm showing you, if you're not comfortable with them, go ahead and use the cannon, shoot out the TNT, and complete the level like normal. And then go ahead and practice these tricks. But what you're gonna do here, if you wanna do the really advanced strat, you're gonna do a hover, a perfect hover, like the most perfect hover you've ever seen to get on top of this bridge from down here. You see this brick that's raised up out of the ground? That's your brick. You can get enough height off of this brick to jump and hover, and you can land on top of the bridge. It's very difficult, like that. Not only is this like the most perfect of perfect hovers you've ever seen, but also that bird is shooting at you the entire time. So there is a lot in the way of this trick, like that. So it can get very frustrating if you don't get it first try that this bird is gonna shoot at you. So give it some practice. If you're not comfortable with it, go ahead and just run around like normal and get up onto this bridge. If you want to skip the cannon and the cutscene that plays with the cannon, what you're gonna do is jump and glide over here to the right, and you hover right up to here. So now, another hover, this is just a series of perfect hovers. You're gonna jump, glide, you don't have a lot of room here, so this is a tricky hover. Some people like to jump off the level and hover back onto this, or you can do it like that. Again, you do not have a lot of room here. This is a very tricky hover. So this one's definitely going to take some practice, but you're going to skip that cannon. You'll hover onto this TNT, drop down into here, and Corporal Glug will still give you the talisman, even though you didn't blow up the TNT. After you get the talisman, just go ahead and exit level like normal. It's time for us to talk about level storage. This is kind of the biggest trick of the run. It defines any percent. And what we're going to try to do is load a Speedway level in the background of the game so that we can get Supercharge and Super Flight from that level and carry it into Gulp and Ripto to finish the game. So I want to talk about it in theory first so we can understand what's going on whenever we do the trick. This is why we did Metro Speedway earlier in the run. Other than getting the 400 gems, we needed this Speedway level completed to make this trick a little easier. What I would suggest maybe for your first runs is to pick up an extra 100 gems, keep them with you, so that you can at least purchase Icy Speedway, maybe do Icy Speedway. That'll make this trick a little easier while you're starting out. So what we're going to do you remember the pause strat we did back in Glimmer, where you pause on the same frame you enter the portal? We're going to do that here, entering Gulp's Overlook. So when you exit level, when you hit start exit level, when it says Gulp's Overlook, Spyro, the loading screen, will have Spyro flying in front of either a purple background or an orange background. If it is a purple background, you are loading out of the Metro Speedway portal while the Gulp cutscene's playing. If it's orange, you're loading out of the Icy Speedway level while the Gulp cutscene's playing. This is why I suggest maybe purchasing Icy, because if you get Icy Speedway and you haven't purchased it, the game will soft lock and you have to close out the game and restart it up. You don't necessarily have to do Icy, but just know if you don't do it, you will be on a timer to perform the rest of the trick in Winter Tundra. Whereas if you're on Metro or you've completed Icy, you technically have a timer, but it's 10 minutes, you'll be fine. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about what movement you're going to have to do to perform this trick. So, you're going to jump into the portal, hit start, exit level when it says Gulp's Overlook. Then you'll see which level you've loaded. Then you're going to have to blind movement into the portal while the Gulp cutscene is playing. So that movement is going to be as follows. If it's a purple background and you've loaded Metro Speedway, you're going to wait to listen for Spyro's feet hitting the ground, coming out of the portal. Then I like to do like a half a step to a step in the down right direction, and then hold down. I usually do it on the D-pad just to get some really precise movements. So that'll be as follows. You will go down right and down, just for like a half a step to a step. Down right, down. If the background is orange and you're going to do Icy Speedway, what I like to do for that movement is I like to press L2. That'll make sure that the camera is tight, snapped right behind Spyro. You'll do 2 full steps in the down right direction and then hold down. So it's 1, 2, hold down. So it's kind of similar to the Metro Speedway, it's just an extra step in the down right direction. Pretty easy to remember. No matter which variation you get, after that, you will wait for the level to load. I like to mash start, that way when I hear the pause menu come up, I know I've loaded. You want to pause, quit, this will bring you to the menu that says retry or quit, and you'll want to hit retry, and then skip the Gulp cutscene as quickly as you can. You want to be mashing triangle to skip that cutscene. So overall, you're going to do your blind movement, boom, boom, wait for the level to load, and that'll be, you'll do a start, X, X, mash triangle. And that will get it set up for you. So I will now show you what both variations look like so you can get a feel for how they both work in real time. I've paused on the frame that I would enter Gulp's Overlook. You can see it says Gulp's Overlook. We're going to exit level. See what we get here. It's a purple background. So this is Metro Speedway. So I will show you the movement for Metro Speedway. Let's listen for Spyro's feet hitting the ground.
We finally made Avalar ours.
Right there.
You've earned a special reward.
Down right, down. The little Spyro logo is in the bottom right, so I loaded the level.
Here you go.
Now, I'm mashing start. I've paused the game, so let's hit quit, retry, and mash to skip the cutscene. That will trigger the glitch to be active. There's one more step you have to do.
Gulp.
You have to take an intentional death.
You can have all the berries you can eat.
This will activate the Speedway level. And when you respawn from this intentional death, you will have Supercharge and Superfly. And you can just take out Gulp, pressing square to do supercharges to him. 10 hits to Gulp and he's dead, just like that. Here we are. Gonna show off the Icy Speedway movement in case you want to do Icy Speedway in your runs while you're still learning. Exit when you enter Gulp's Overlook. The background is orange, so this is Icy Speedway. Let's listen here.
We finally made Avalar ours.
Snap the camera with L2.
Special reward.
Hold down right for 2 steps. Hold down, and I've just entered the Icy Speedway portal, as we saw the loading screen in the bottom right. Now we'll wait. Pause the game, quit, retry, and mash triangle to skip the cutscene. Again, you want to skip that cutscene as soon as you can after you've retried the Speedway. We'll spawn in, take an intentional death first, and then the glitch will be active. We'll supercharge Gulp and take him out. If a small thing I did there, you'll notice, is I let Gulp get the final hit on me. For some reason, if you let Gulp get the final hit on you instead of the lava, he won't move whenever you respawn. So you can just charge at him right there in the center. If after you skip the cutscene, you spawn in with Supercharge and Superfly, that is a soft lock. You cannot fix. You just close out the game and try again. Don't try and continue onwards killing Gulp. It may be like, oh, I skipped a step. That's awesome. I already got it. You will actually soft lock after you finish the Gulp fight. So just be careful about that. Like I said, as long as you're loading into the portal correctly, don't quit the Speedway, retry the Speedway. And skipping the cutscene immediately after you hit retry, things should work out great. Now that we're in Winter Tundra, it's time to get into Ripto's arena without the 40 orb requirement. So we're going to utilize this glitch we have just enabled to get there. If you remember the height cap breaking we did in Crystal Glacier, we're going to do that here. This is why I said you need to start practicing with it, because it will be needed to finish the run. To go over the inputs again, what we need to do to break through the height cap. We are above the height cap right now, as you can see. That invisible height cap is keeping us from going any higher. To break through, you need to, while in flight, hold up just this much on the joystick. That will make Spyro start traveling down slightly in the flight. Continue holding this input throughout the entirety of the trick. Once you've started moving down slightly, press down on the D-pad. That will make Spyro to start moving in an upward direction, because that is a larger input than the slight joystick up. When you're just about to hit that invisible ceiling, you have to get a feel for it, but when you're just about to hit it, let go of that down on the D-pad while continuing to hold the joystick, and Spyro will continue in an upward direction. You need to hold that until you get as much height as you need. You can use the left, right, and up on the D-pad while holding the joystick to adjust yourself in the air without falling below the height cap. So that will, if you find yourself not at the right place to get into the loading trigger for Ripto's arena, you can adjust yourself to get there. So I will show what it'll look like to do that movement. Just keep practicing, stick with it. I promise, once you pull it off once or twice, it'll start to make sense. So come off to the left here. Give yourself a nice amount of room to work with. Hold down on that up on that joystick, down on the D-pad. Hold that joystick input. The entirety till you get your height. Now I like to use the D-pad to adjust myself in the air. Kind of aim for this corner in the shadow. Hover, and you're into that loading trigger just like that. Hey guys, really quickly, I forgot to mention in this recording, if you pay for Icy Speedway and use Icy, but you haven't completed it, you will be on a timer to do the flight trick. So what you need to do, you won't have the time to complete the Ripto fight. So you need to warp back to Icy Speedway after loading Ripto's arena to deload level storage, then warp back to Ripto's arena and complete the fight normally without the trick.
Yeah.
I suggest you, like I did there, using the D-pad to point yourself, to lower yourself slowly into, so you can kind of see where the hallway is and correct yourself in air. If you try and just drop from the ceiling trigger into there, you might have some trouble. So, let's go to the Ripto fight here. So, in the first phase of the Ripto fight, you still have Supercharge. Supercharge will damage Ripto. You're going to lose this Supercharge in phase 2. So, you're going to need to do the fight correctly. So make sure you get 2 orbs here before taking out Ripto. That's just to set yourself up for a quick kill on phase 2. So the first orb you get here will be, you'll get a power up immediately and you'll start hitting him. Now I pause the game here because I want to talk about a very advanced strat, which is the phase 2 quick kill. You can kill Ripto in phase 2 here in 1 power up. It's very difficult. Things need to be set up perfectly. You need a blue orb for your final power up, and you need it to be very close to Mecha Gulp. I have a blue orb here, but it is not close enough to get the quick kill. So I'm still going to take the blue orb. I'm going to show you how you would do the quick kill, but know that this is too far away to get it. You need to be much closer so that you can start hitting him immediately. So you can kind of get quick hits on Gulp while he's still staggered. So you'll hit him, he'll have a little knockback, and then he'll get back up on his feet. You can hit him again while he's getting back up on his feet, and he won't knock back. So you can basically get 2 hits in succession. So I'll show you what that's like. You can do this with any power up, but the blue one is the only one that you'll be able to take him out in 1 cycle with. So we'll come over here for the blue power up. Hit. Hit, 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 hit. So I only got 1 of the quick hits there, but you can see with those quick hits, if you get 4 of those in succession and the blue orb is really close to him, you can take Ripto out. That was another quick hit. You can take Ripto out in 1 power up. Finally into phase 3 here. Ripto, if you flame Ripto correctly with the fireballs, you can kind of predict. I'm going to try and pause the game right when it starts here. You can kind of predict where Ripto's going to go. It's kind of hard to just explain, so I would say watch closely to the movement I do here and try and mimic it. I'll try and explain it as I go, but just watch closely and try and mimic where I'm shooting fireballs to get quick hits to Ripto, and you'll be able to kind of start getting faster and faster phase 3s. Time will end on this run when you deal the final blow to Ripto. So, right when I spawn into phase 3 here, I turn and I shoot right towards that spiny thing. I shoot another there, and I shoot 1 there. Then I do a 180 and I shoot him as he's turning, and you can get 2 hits in right there. You get a hit there, and pretty much from here on out, it's kind of random where he goes for the last 2 hits. So he's going to fly around the building, so I'm going to prep for that by shooting there. And then I'm gonna shoot over here in hopes that one of those will hit him, and time would be right there when I get that final hit. So that is the entirety of the any percent speedrun for Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. I hope that this guide is somewhat helpful in explaining a lot of the more difficult tricks and skips that this run has to offer. But if this guide was, if some of the spots were a little vague, or there's something I skipped over, maybe there's something that was a little haphazard and you didn't understand, there is a Spyro Speedrunning Discord, which is linked on the speedrun.com page, which there is a specific channel just for Spyro 2 Reignited. Feel free to ask questions there. Feel free to message me or leave a comment if there's something you want explained a little better, you're not understanding. But I'm really hoping that this guide helps people learn the run and get into this run, because this is a really cool game and the run is awesome. So, thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful.